good skills, but good is not enough. You can be great.
Sean O'Malley versus Raulian Paiva has been announced as in the works for the UFC 269 card at the end of this year, and I think this is an amazing matchup. It's a great matchup, and it's a ranked matchup as well, so O'Malley is jumping up the rankings here to take on number 15 ranked Raulian Paiva. I thought I'd give my reaction to the fight being made and also an early prediction and breakdown on who I see winning that matchup, but this is a great one for Sean O'Malley. He bounces back after his loss to Oliveira with 2 wins in the bantamweight division. One against Chris Matinho, I understand, but it was supposed to be against Lewis Smolka. Now I know that's also Lewis Smolka, but still he's on a 2-fight winning streak. He's jumping back up the rankings against number 15 Raulian Paiva. I really like this matchup, and I think is a good test for Sean O'Malley, because Raulian Paiva, even though I don't think he should have won the Kyler Phillips fight, I believe Kyler Phillips should have got a 10-8 in that first round, which would have made it a draw. He's still on short notice against Kyler Phillips, who beat Song Yudong pretty handily, came back in the later rounds and made it a draw. Raulian Paiva is a worthy contender in the bantamweight division, and plus, on short notice he did that as well. He was the one pushing the pace in the second and third round and out-grappling Kyler Phillips. I know he got battered in that first round, but still, to prove that he can bounce back after a first round like that and grind and hustle his way to a win, even though it should have been a draw, he's ranked number 15 right now in the bantamweight division. He's earned number 15 ranked in the bantamweight division. I think this is a great matchup. I know a lot of people are complaining about this. I'm seeing the comments of the ESPN post. If you don't know who Raulian Paiva is, you don't watch this sport. If you don't know who a ranked contender is in a division, you aren't paying attention. So they're just basically outing themselves as complete casuals in the comment sections of ESPN MMA. I don't understand what they don't get here. They asked for a ranked opponent for O'Malley. He called out Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz turned him down. So did a bunch of other people. And a bunch of other people also matched up in the bantamweight division as well, or they've just fought in the bantamweight division and aren't looking to turn around too quickly. It was Raulian Paiva or Brian Kelleher. And a lot of people are saying stuff like, why wasn't it Brian Kelleher? Paiva's a higher ranked guy. You know? Like, Kelleher's beaten some decent opponents, but they're nothing amazing. Raulian Paiva at least technically won against Kyler Phillips, and even if he didn't win, he technically did better on the scorecards, even if it was a draw, than Song Yudong, who's also a great bantamweight contender. People are complaining about this, but this is better than Kelleher, because he's a higher ranked guy, and maybe a better guy as well, who knows? I haven't seen a matchup between the pair of them yet, but I would assume, according to the rankings, Raulian Paiva's a much better fighter. 23-1 or 21-3 in the UFC. Good record, 3-fight win streak right now in the UFC as well. His last win was pretty good, even though it should have been a draw. Raulian Paiva is a legit contender, and people are saying protecting Sean. Like, what do they want? I'm going to give my prediction on this fight. I do believe Sean O'Malley's going to win this one. He trains with Kyler Phillips. It's a very big advantage to have here. Kyler Phillips went out there, had a pretty easy first round against Raulian Paiva. I'm sure Sean O'Malley's going to be training with Kyler Phillips in the build-up to this matchup, learning some things, seeing what Raulian Paiva does well, how strong he is in the clinch, that kind of stuff, what kind of trips he goes for, what kind of takedowns he goes for, what he does on the feet. I think it's a good matchup for Sean O'Malley, and I do believe that Sean O'Malley's going to win. But what do people actually want? They're like, bruh, in the comments here. He's ranked, he's on a win streak of 3, he's 21-3, he's number 15 in the world at bantamweight. And that's not good enough for the comment sections. I guess it had to be Piotr Jan or nothing? Like, would these people have been complaining if he signed a fight with Merab? Would they have been complaining if he signed a fight with another guy like a Pedro Munhoz who was coming off a loss? I bet there would be a complaint about every single matchup. Here's the deal, casual MMA fans who don't understand the sport. You don't just get top opponents when you're unranked. They don't want you. They want other ranked fighters that are going to improve their ranking. They don't want to lose to Sean O'Malley, even if they believe they're going to beat him and you believe they're going to beat him. They don't want to risk losing to a guy who's unranked, otherwise they're going to slip way down the rankings if he does beat them. Like, O'Malley called out guys, they ignored him or turned him down, obviously because he's unranked, he hasn't earned those big name fights yet. So he's taking on the number 15 guy to get himself ranked so he can call out those big names. I think this is a great matchup for Sean O'Malley. Raulian Paiva is good on the feet. He's got some KOs in the UFC. He beat Mark De La Rosa by KO. Not the greatest of wins, don't get me wrong, but he dusted him up pretty easily and made him look like Mark De La Rosa. So good job there by Raulian Paiva. And not to mention his only 2 losses in the UFC that he has are a split decision to Kai France, which arguably he could have won if you go back and watch that fight. And the other loss that he has is Rodrigo Bontorin, who was beaten but got stopped because of a cut over his eye. He was winning that fight against Rodrigo Bontorin. He was doing okay in that fight against Rodrigo Bontorin, who's a top 10 flyweight in the UFC coming off a win against Matt Schnell. Kai France is taking on Cody Garbrandt next. He's a top 7 guy in the flyweight division. Raulian Paiva went to a split decision against him and outlanded him in some of the rounds, but France landed some of the bigger shots.
We go again.